Hi, I'm retired professional triathlete TJ Tollakson, CEO of Dimond Bikes, and I am with
Christopher Schroeder, 2021's voted most handsome gravel cyclist, looking to defend another year. And we're here to talk to you guys about 5 things to know when you're buying your first gravel bike.
most handsome gravel cyclist. So here we go. He is the crown prince of the Dimond Factory racing team as well. So 5 things to know before you buy your first gravel bike. Number 1 is going to be know the benefits of carbon. So if you're looking for a gravel bike, obviously we did a video on the different frame materials, but if you're in the market for a top-end gravel bike, you should know the benefits of carbon and know that carbon is the best material for a gravel bike. Here's why. It can be super conforming to the environment that you're riding on, so as you're riding it will absorb a lot of the shock, but it still provides rigidity in every place you need it for your power transfer to be able to ride as fast as possible. So carbon is great for that. 2, carbon is super lightweight, so as you're going up and down hills, carbon is the right material because it has a better strength to weight ratio than any of the other materials. And the last one, not to be forgotten, carbon is just drop dead sexy. It looks way cooler than any of the other materials. There you have it.
End of story.
So the next thing that we definitely want to go over when you're looking for a bike is like, what is your goals? Why are you buying a bike? What do you want to do with it? I think that people need to think, all right, did they sign up for a race and now they need to kind of buy what they need for that race? Or are they looking at a bigger project of really getting into doing a bunch of gravel races each year? So after you know your race goal, say it's Unbound, you need to know, all right, Unbound requires a certain amount of gear. You need to have a gravel bike that can hold up to a 40mm tire. You need to have a bike that fits you. What if you're not just a gravel cyclist? You're gonna wanna be able to work with that bike, to be able to train on the road, to be able to go on your local group ride and ride gravel. So getting something like that in mind keeps it when you go looking for shops, what's a bike that maybe can double as both? Things like that are really helpful. Not to mention when you know your goals, you can kind of set a timeline, think, all right, I'm gonna race Unbound in June. That means I need to get my gravel bike in February so I can have months to prepare on this. And knowing that ahead of time will really help you kind of preparing and getting things in line in time.
All right, so the next thing to dovetail nicely into that is to know your geometry, right? So you need to know your bike fit data. So start with this. If you've got a bike that fits you really well, should you just take that bike and transfer it over to your gravel bike? No.
No, definitely not.
The requirements for gravel racing are different than road racing and certainly different than triathlon. So where should that first point of contact be? Your bike fitter. Get in touch with your local bike fitter, a really good bike fitter, one that knows the difference between a gravel bike and a road bike and a cyclocross bike and a tri-bike. You can get the best fit, and then that bike fitter can help you determine what size Dimond carbide you should have.
Exactly, and the simple thing is the Dimond Carbide is a cyclocross bike, it is a gravel bike, and it's a freaking road bike.
All right, next topic.
What was the next topic? So the next thing that we want to cover is electrical versus mechanical drivetrains. This is going to be an easy one. Don't do mechanic, just don't. It's not worth it. I promise you, it's not worth it. And here's why. In gravel, there's mud, dirt, and water, and all these things. If you have mechanical, what that happens is you're going through mud and it gets onto the cables, which you then are pulling in and out of the bike, in and out of your rear derailleurs, in and out of your brakes. And over time, it corrodes and it breaks. And the reality is a lot of the really citrusy mud that you're gonna see at the Mid-South in these Northwest races just erodes these cables immediately. And you're gonna end up finding yourself in a situation where you bought a mechanical gravel bike, you now have to buy a completely new mechanical group set to replace the one that broke at your first gravel race. Versus electronic shifting, you know that every time you hit the button, it's going to shift. It doesn't matter what you're going through, it's gonna move, the chain's gonna come off onto another cog, and you're gonna be able to keep going. You simply need to look long-term. Yeah, like we all know that buying a bike can be intimidating, but the investment that you're making in electronic versus mechanical really is a crucial point of that, because long-term, mechanical just is really not set up to handle what goes through in a gravel race. So I think for everyone looking to buy a gravel bike, they need to think long-term, and I think electronic's really the only option.
All right, so battery mentality, right? A whole bunch of people are saying, dude, I can't put a battery on there because what if my battery dies? I won't be able to shift. How do you solve that?
Well, you could just carry an extra battery with you. It seems like a good one. I mean, the ETAP ones are about the size of, a quarter. I would recommend probably putting an extra one in there. Also, just got to remember to charge it.
Look, it's quite simple.
On a fresh charge, there's no race that you can't finish on a fresh charge, plain and simple. Charge your battery the night before the race, bring an extra one if you got, let's call it battery anxiety. Simple answers.
All right, and so the last thing we're going to talk about is the Dimond Carbide can be more than just a gravel bike. And here I just told you that you should get a fit specifically for this bike, and you should because of how you'll be riding it. But the Dimond Carbide gravel bike is more. You can enter a cyclocross race on your Dimond Carbide. Now, if you're racing in the Cross World Championships, it's probably not the right bike for you. But if you want to dabble in cross racing, great. It's a perfect bike for that. If you want to dabble in road riding, go on group rides, enjoy bike trail rides on paved trail, any kind of tarmac, it's great. You can hop on the Carbide, you can put skinny tires, different set of wheels. The disc brakes make it really easy to swap between one wheel set and the next. And there you go, you just changed from a gravel bike to a road bike. We have lots of customers all over the world that use the Dimond Carbide as both a gravel bike and a road bike. You too can have this benefit. It's the one bike to conquer any terrain. It does it all. So there you have it. Those are 5 things to consider before you buy your first gravel bike.